everyone, welcome to the webinar Push Play on Growth. Today we're going to be going over why you need YouTube advertising and how to get started. My name is Kelsey Hadaller. I am a Senior Account Manager here at Hanapin Marketing, as well as a blog writer for the Hanapin blog PPC Hero. And I'm joined by Hanapin Marketing Account Manager Emma Franks. She also writes for the PPC Hero blog. And Emma is actually going to be presenting on YouTube at HeroConf London in October this year. And now on to who is Hanapin.
Hi everyone, as Kelsey said, my name is Emma, and I will be presenting at HeroConf in London, which is the world's biggest PPC-only conference. We present twice a year in the US and in the UK. Hanapin, as the parent brand of PPC Hero and HeroConf, is the industry-leading digital marketing agency. We manage and optimize clients' paid search, paid social, and display programs. And fun fact, our first and second clients are still with us today, 12 plus years into the business. And so it's a pretty fantastic business model, and Kelsey and I have had the joy of working with Hanapin's first client for a number of years now. Looking into who our clients are, you can see here we have clients from a number of different verticals. We work with big brands and Fortune 500 companies, excuse me. And you can see all of our, or a number of our clients on the client page at hanapinmarketing.com if you're interested in seeing specifically what kind of companies we work with.
All right, and if you have any questions or comments throughout this webinar, feel free to include the hashtag ThinkPPC in your tweets, and you can also use our webinar question box to send questions for the live Q&A section later on. But just to begin and get things started, we do have a live poll question. How long have you been in PPC? A, less than 1 year, B, 1 to 3 years, C, 3 to 5 years, or D, over 5 years?
So do you want to start off, Kelsey? How long have you been in PPC?
I've been in PPC for almost, it'll be 3 years next week, I think. How about you, Emma?
I'm also in that 1 to 3 year box, but I am coming up on my 2-year mark in PPC.
And it looks like our audience is a pretty good mix here. We do have 34% over 5 years, which is great. And we also have a good mix of visitors who have been in PPC for less than 1 year or 1 to 3 years. So good mix here.
That's great. So the great thing I think about YouTube is that no matter how long you've been in PPC, it's such a dynamic industry that there's always new features and new things to delve into. Looking at our agenda for today, we'll give you just a quick run through. First out, I did want to mention that we do have a YouTube white paper available to download in the handout section. You can feel free to download that at any time during the webinar today and keep it as a resource for yourself. We're going to start out with why you should test in YouTube if you aren't yet. So some of you may be running campaigns in YouTube already, but if you aren't and if you're kind of wondering if you should jump into that channel, we'll have some insights for you there. Then we'll go into how to build a YouTube strategy, how to set up your YouTube conversion tracking and things to look for, as well as YouTube performance analyses, what's similar to and what's different from regular PPC analysis. And then toward the end, we'll have some tips for how to pitch YouTube to your leadership team. And then, of course, a live Q&A. And as was mentioned, you can submit your questions via the comment box directly here in the webinar.
All right, so let's get started. Why to test YouTube? YouTube is the second largest search engine. So if you're expanding to platforms outside of AdWords, it makes complete sense that YouTube would be on that list. And second, since the reach on YouTube is so wide, it really gives us the ability to lift brand awareness and in turn increase our branded search traffic. And we all love those low funnel keywords that we can target and get conversion really easily. And in YouTube, you'll also find that we have lower cost per impressions and lower cost per clicks compared to your typical search or display campaigns. And to maximize those views, you can also bid by cost per view, so a bit more control there. And along with increased brand awareness, advertising on YouTube also increases your options and sizes of your remarketing lists. So by sending more viewers to your site, those users are of course cookied and then can be targeted later on through your search and display efforts. So it's very similar to the benefits of overall display advertising. And speaking of AdWords, YouTube is integrated with the AdWords platform, so that makes implementation and analysis really simple. And now we'll go on to building a YouTube strategy.
Great. So the first thing that you want to do as you're building out your YouTube strategy, getting ready to launch, is to define your objectives. And this is really important to know going into the strategy build because it will largely determine what kind of ads that you want to run, as well as there are different campaign types available now in AdWords for shopping and for app campaigns as well. So if you're looking at YouTube for either of those objectives, then you may choose a different campaign type. But if you are looking to build brand awareness for your website or for your YouTube channel, YouTube can be a great tool for that, as well as Kelsey mentioned, to use for remarketing, whether direct remarketing to drive conversions or remarketing to previous purchasers or users to build or create brand ambassadors, cross-sell or upsell your products.
The next step to building your YouTube strategy is to select the best ad type for your objective. The first ad type that you can use in YouTube ads is the in-stream ad. This is a video ad that plays before YouTube content and is pretty much what you would think of as a typical ad on YouTube. If users click on these, they will be taken to your channel, or you can also choose to take them straight to your landing page if your goal is more direct conversions. So in this example, this is a Pottery Barn video that's on YouTube, and they could use this in their in-stream ads to show previous customers their new Pottery Barn plant shop to re-engage previous converters. And then the second type of ad is called an in-display ad, or otherwise known as discovery ad. And these ads show in search results as one option. We'll go over a couple different ways that these show, but first to go over this example we're using here, Bookit.com could advertise their 50% off sale to their YouTube viewers who are interested in travel. And for in-displays, you can see in this example, advertisers must include both a headline and a description line, just like responsive or text ads in AdWords. So these are especially beneficial to point out your value props, or if you have a promotion going on, in-display or discovery ads are really beneficial there. And these can also be shown on YouTube-related videos, as well as an overlay on any YouTube video content. And then the final type of ad on YouTube is the 6-second bumper ad. So this is basically a condensed version of an in-stream ad. And since you're not able to sell or say much in 6 seconds, it's crucial to get creative and focus on audience engagement and brand awareness when using bumper ads, rather than focusing on getting direct conversions. This is really just a 6-second blurb to re-engage your audience.
So speaking of audiences, step number 3 in building a YouTube strategy is to define your audience, to choose what audiences you're going to be layering with each specific type of ad, which Kelsey mentioned. So you can see here, as you're building your YouTube campaign, you have essentially all of the same targeting options that are available in the Google Display Network. So nothing too foreign there. You can remarket to your website non-converters, to your website converters, as we mentioned, with the brand ambassadors or cross-selling, upselling. You can also remarket to your YouTube viewer audiences. So if users have engaged with a different video or even a specific video on your channel, and you want to direct them to another video, you can use that kind of very focused campaign targeting, as well as any kind of contextual or behavioral prospecting keywords or placements or topics that you might want to layer in, just as you would in the display network. YouTube has, as we mentioned, a very large reach, so it works well for remarketing, keeping your brand top of mind, but also can be beneficial in building out your remarketing list, as was mentioned before, with those prospecting audiences as well.
And then the last step of doing the initial strategy build is actually creating or uploading your video ads. So first, it's important to know that AdWords has two different types of campaigns depending on the ad type that you choose to run. So if you want to run in-stream or the in-display ads, that will be one type of campaign. And then if you choose to run the 6-second short bumper ads, that is a separate type of video campaign within AdWords. So really important to identify which type of ad you want to run first before you create your campaign. So after creating that campaign and your ad group, setting up targeting, all you do is copy and paste the video URL into AdWords, and then AdWords will make that process super easy. And as you can see in this example, AdWords actually gives you a little blurb of what this type of ad is. So if you're a bit lost when creating them, AdWords really guides you through the process of uploading these ads, which is really easy and great. And next, we'll go over everyone's favorite topic, conversion tracking.
So the first thing that you'll want to do with your conversion tracking, if you haven't already, is to link your YouTube account to AdWords. And this is very simple, easy to do within the Linked Accounts tab on AdWords. So there is one specifically for YouTube, has all the instructions. You just click that plus channel, add your YouTube channel, and then you'll need to go into the YouTube interface to approve that link. Once your channel is approved, you can go ahead with building out your remarketing audiences and anything like that that you need to do. A couple of notes that you'll want to make sure with your conversion tracking. Number one is to make sure you have UTM parameters in your ad URL or in the tracking template. So you can see here when you're setting up each of your ads, when you are directing to a landing page, you can add those UTM parameters if you don't already utilize auto tagging within AdWords. The second thing that you'll want to be sure about is if you use any cards within your YouTube video, it's a good idea to add UTM parameters into those video cards as well to make sure that any clicks that come anywhere on your YouTube video are giving credit to that video and that ad that you're running. And then finally, if you include any links to other pages within your video description, on your video page, as you can see here with Bed Bath & Beyond, they link to several products that are used in their little quick 30-second video. Be sure to add your UTM parameters to those URLs as well so that you can know where that traffic is coming from.
And now on to how to analyze your YouTube campaign performance after it's been running for a while. So when analyzing performance for YouTube campaigns, it's really important to avoid focusing on direct conversion metrics. Just keep in mind that YouTube is a high funnel marketing strategy and use metrics specific to those goals. And for an example here, you can see that these ad groups are split out by both destination. So if we're sending them to a landing page or just to the full video on the actual YouTube channel, and then also shows the ad type. So it's important to also label your ad groups appropriately just so it's much easier to pull your performance. And then here, what I like to pull is all of the cost per view, and all of the earned metrics. These earned views, subscribers, likes, and playlist additions are counted when a user completes the action up to 7 days after seeing your ad. So for example, if someone views your ad and then within 7 days they go back to your YouTube channel and view another ad or video, excuse me, that is called an earned view. So you can see overall engagement rather than just clicks to the site and if someone converted or not. It's also really important to pay attention to the percentage video played to. So if you notice that your 100% column here has very low numbers, these are all luckily pretty strong. But if all of these ad groups were under 10%, that would let us know that very small percentage of people are actually viewing the entire ad. Especially if it's a very short ad, you know that it might be time to go back to your strategy for your creative, get some new ads going, or revisit your targeting strategies, see if you're really targeting the perfect person for your goals. And now we're going to go over some tips on how to pitch YouTube to your leadership team.
So we know that as a PPC manager, sometimes it can be difficult to explain the benefits of expanding into a new channel, especially with PPC, where we're very data-driven and very used to having, direct outcomes. Whereas YouTube may be a little bit intimidating because you won't see the same kind of direct conversion results, for example, that you may see from search, because again, the intent is just different. So we recommend when you go to pitch YouTube to your leadership team that you really focus on the objectives and the potential outcomes, keeping in mind that C-levels and the executives, the leadership team are really concerned about the future of the company and what's happening down the road. So the more that you can present the potential outcomes and kind of the big picture of what may result from launching and running in YouTube will really help to facilitate that and make it easier for the leadership team to say yes. The second tip that we have is to utilize your existing media or use the YouTube Director app. So in order to save money, you may be able to cut together quick 30-second or 6-second video ads using videos that are already available, that have already been created and running on your YouTube channel. And having that really easy fix of, we don't have to invest an extensive amount of money in creating this media. We can use what we already have. Will again just make it easier for your leadership team to agree and to allow the test. Thirdly, although it may be tempting, we want to avoid PPC jargon that may come very naturally to us as PPC account managers. So using terms like audience re-engagement versus remarketing really explains the concept of your purpose in running these campaigns or targeting these audiences, and makes it easier for someone outside of the PPC world to really understand what's going on. And with that, not getting into the details of, again, your account structure, or we want to use this ad type too much, really focusing on, the higher level, why we're running these campaigns, and the purposes of the strategy. Next, as much as possible, or if you are able to use case studies or examples, especially examples from competitors, will really help to show the need for YouTube in your particular industry and for your company specifically. You can just Google case studies for YouTube, or you may find some just in engaging with other PPC account managers or in PPC chat or things like that, that may be able to help you in your presentation to your leadership team. And then finally, of course, last but not least, practice your pitch before the meeting. So be sure that you have everything together that you need for your presentation, that you have the specific statistics that you're going to be using, examples all laid out and accessible, anticipating questions that may come from the leadership team, practicing how you'll be presenting that, your language that you'll use. It'll also help to calm your nerves, just general, pitch presentation tips. But then you can also get feedback from others and weed out any inconsistencies or things that may be unclear as you're going into that pitch. Do you have any other thoughts and tips that you wanted to share on pitching to the leadership, Kelsey?
Yeah, I think just making sure that you focus on the fact that it is high funnel. Definitely want to set expectations that we don't expect to get 20% of our overall conversions for a month from a video campaign, but showing how many additional users we can get on the site to remarket to is what's really important, because those higher level executives are interested in the bottom line. They don't necessarily need to know who we're targeting, but just how that would affect the overall performance of the account is very important.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
All right, so before we get into the live Q&A, we do have an offer for our listeners today. Hanapin's offering a free account analysis by our experts at Hanapin for companies and brands that spend over $15,000 per month in ad spend. So this solutions blueprint is where our team will look into your account and compare the structure and overall results and performance to our industry standards. And I would especially suggest this for in-house PPC teams. If you're managing your own account, it's really hard to come up with some new ideas or really know what's going on without getting a fresh set of eyes on the account. We do that all the time at Hanapin. If we get into a roadblock, just give it to another account manager or an account analyst and just get some fresh new ideas. So if you're interested in receiving a free solutions blueprint, go ahead and select A. Otherwise, we will go ahead and get started on the questions. All right, so the first one, someone asked, when are you charged in YouTube? That's a great question. It's a little different compared to your regular search or display campaigns. So in YouTube campaigns, you actually pay when a user watches 30 seconds of your video or watches the entire video if it's less than 30 seconds. So for example, that 6-second bumper ad isn't free. You just pay your bid or 1 penny more than your competitor per 1,000 impressions.
This is one thing that I think is important to understand too, considering YouTube video views versus on Facebook, a view is anything longer than 3 seconds. So, that window of 30 seconds is really a big commitment that you're getting from the user to be counted as a view. And so YouTube could even be more valuable in the views that you receive there than what you're getting on Facebook, since it may be, a 5 or 10 second commitment from a Facebook view. Whereas in YouTube, you know that the user is actually interacting with your ad, or at least committing enough of their time to view that full video.
Good point. Next question is, how should you organize ad groups? So I'll start the answer on that one. One thing to remember is that AdWords will require you to split out your ad groups by your ad format. So if you have an in-display and in-stream campaign, remember you have to have that in its own type of campaign. If you're running 2 types of ads within that one campaign, those have to be split out into their own ad groups. So while you're forced to do that, that's also a good way to split out your ad groups anyway. Like we explained earlier, by splitting them out, it's easier to kind of go through the analysis and see how the different types of ads are performing. So pretty much similar to how you would split out your keywords, definitely split out your types of ads for video.
Going along with that, something...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say something that I like to do with my YouTube ad sets is to put different audiences in the same, or in different ad sets within the same campaign. So for example, if I'm running a YouTube remarketing campaign, I might have one audience of 30-day viewers, one audience of 60-day viewers, one audience of 90-day viewers, and splitting those out into 3 different ad sets. Although it's viewable within one ad set, looking at just the audience dimension, having them split out into different ad sets allows me to actually bid differently for those audiences, and just makes it even more clearly how they're performing, as well as remarketing to website visitors versus remarketing to my YouTube viewers. I like to have those separated just because I know that their performance isn't going to be exactly the same, since they're at different points in the discovery and different points in the funnel.
Yeah, anything to make our analysis easier is always a good way to go. Another question that we received is, what if I don't have a YouTube channel? Can I upload videos directly to AdWords? Emma, do you want to take this one?
Sure. So unfortunately, you can't upload videos directly to AdWords, but it is very easy to create a YouTube channel if you don't have one already. And we would recommend that you create a YouTube channel for your brand anyway, just because you will be obviously gaining viewers as you run these video campaigns. And if you simultaneously have other videos that you don't want to necessarily sponsor, running one video ad is a good way to get traffic to your channel and view other videos essentially for free with those earned views and other things like that. So while not every user will click to a advertiser's video channel within YouTube, it's always an option. So having videos that are available within that channel, within that YouTube account is a great idea just for branding overall. And it's very easy to set up.
Cool. Next question. Someone asked, how much should they spend on a test in YouTube? So that's a good one, and I think that's a quick question that you would get after pitching to your leadership team. So like everything in PPC, it really does depend on your goals. If you are doing a brand lift test with Google, there's going to be some minimum spends required, so you have to get pretty aggressive with your efforts there. But if you do have a smaller budget, say you're spending $10,000 a month in AdWords and you want to test out YouTube for brand awareness, you can go as low as $5 a day or even lower. I ran a few campaigns that had a very low budget of about $3 a day, and even that amount with such low cost per views and cost per clicks. For video campaigns, we did see a lot of traffic come through, so we still got the benefit of the increased visitors to the site that we could remarket to and increased engagement with such a low spend. So just know that the less you're willing to invest, the less you're going to see for actionable insights. But yeah, a very low amount of spend is always great, even just to increase engagement. And at Hanapin, we like to go by the 70-20-10 rule. So 70% of your efforts or spend is based on your tried and true methods. 20% are tests that you think will run well. So for example, if you want to test remarketing for search, you know that's probably going to have a good conversion rate, strong CPL. So that's 20% of your spend. And then keep 10% of your spend or monthly budget on tests that you don't really know how they're going to work. And with brand awareness, I would think that video would fit into that 10% if you are on the smaller end of spend. All right. Now another question we just got, do videos have to be public or can they be unlisted? Emma, do you know the answer to that one? I believe they have to be public.
I can actually take that. They can be private. I don't believe you can run unlisted ads as YouTube videos as ads, but if you have your video set to private, it won't show up like in a YouTube search, for example. But if users go to that video page, there will be a little banner on the page that says, the owner of this video has made it private. You might want to think twice before sharing that. So we recommend having videos be public just so that you can increase that earned engagement. That we don't want to be encouraging users, or discouraging users from sharing that video with their friends or liking that video just because it was marked as private. So although you are able to run private videos, we do recommend making them public before you run your ad.
Cool. Next question. Quick one, can I link more than one YouTube channel to my AdWords account? Short answer is yes, and vice versa. You can link more than one YouTube channel to your AdWords account, and you can also link more than one AdWords account to one YouTube channel. So if you have your account split out for budgeting reasons or conversion tracking reasons, it can be pretty flexible with AdWords and YouTube, which is another reason why I think it's so easy to kind of set it all up.
Exactly, and we actually use this, Char, I was going to say, we use this for one of my clients that has an internal YouTube channel where they publish videos on behalf of their clients. And we have linked that channel as well to our AdWords for kind of external marketing on behalf of the company. So we can showcase the clients just as they are on behalf of the company, and that improves viewership both for their clients as well as for the company as a whole.
Cool. And then another question is how to optimize your YouTube campaigns. So I think the first thing to look at is your targeting. So of course it's important to go in with a strategy of which audience you're targeting, whether it be interest-based or remarketing. But since who you're targeting has such a big effect on your overall performance, revisiting that if you're not seeing much engagement or if you're not seeing many clicks to your site or your video channel, revisiting who those people are that are seeing your ads is probably the most important place where you can optimize. And then a second thing to take a look at is how you're bidding. So while there are so many options for bidding in AdWords in general, I'm sure you've tested different types of bidding strategies for search and display. So do the same for YouTube. Avoid just setting up the campaign and just letting it run, especially if it's a low spend. Of course, that's easy to do if you're only spending, 3% of your overall monthly budget on YouTube. But since it could have such a big effect on your overall brand awareness and audience engagement, just make sure to take a look at the small things like bidding. I mean, did you have any other?
Yeah, I was going to say another thing to look at down the road, I know is not available to all users yet, since I believe it's only in the new AdWords interface, but with the new reach and frequency metrics coming to AdWords, those will be a big player, I think, in these very audience-focused channels like YouTube and the display network to know not only how many views you're getting, but how frequently your ads are showing to the same person. And that may also affect how you decide to budget. If you have a high frequency, then maybe you want to pull back your budget a little bit and show your ads more frequently, as well as looking at the frequency caps that you have in place. And those are available obviously already in the interface, but just making sure that you're not causing any kind of ad fatigue with your audience or viewership.
Cool. And then I think our last question is it beneficial to do YouTube ads even if we don't have a content strategy for our YouTube channel? It's a really good question. We do have a lot of clients who have YouTube channels and have some content that might be older content from a couple of years ago, or they just upload videos randomly. So I would say it could still definitely be beneficial, especially if you can just create a pretty short ad under 30 seconds or even one of those 6-second blurbs. If your audience is well aware of your brand name, just using some smaller ads to use, especially for remarketing, to re-engage your audience. And keep in mind for the in-stream ads, you can actually send those people to your landing pages. So if you're using just remarketing in your YouTube strategy, using in-stream ads and sending those people to a landing page, then again, you can remarket to them, or they might even convert if they've already been to your site. So I don't think it's 100% crucial to have a full content strategy already developed on your YouTube channel. I think just being a bit more strategic with who you're targeting and the types of ads that you're using is going to be really important there.
If I can make a comment, I think that YouTube ads also provide a great opportunity if you want to have a conversation about why there's not yet a YouTube content strategy in your YouTube channel. If you want to facilitate that discussion, as Kelsey mentioned, you can use YouTube ads just to drive users to your landing page. You can use them to drive users to your channel if you want to build up your viewership. And that may also be a strategy that you put in place as you're working on building out a video strategy or video content strategy within YouTube to take into consideration.
Good point. All right, well, those are all the questions we received. So thank you all for attending our webinar. Yes, very good. If you have any other follow-up questions, just use the ThinkPPC hashtag on Twitter, or feel free to contact our team directly at marketing@hanapinmarketing.com. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.